Okay, this is the second video of Chapter 7 in the Microsoft Excel 2013 Comprehensive Textbook, and we're on page 421. We've just saved a template, and now they want us to go to Windows Explorer here, and I saved it on my desktop, and the file was called see, let's just do it by, there it is right there. And double click on it, and it opens up the template. And now what we want to do is save as. So a template is something that is stored with a different file extension, and you can use it as a starting point for another worksheet. So if you find yourself creating worksheets that look like this over and over and over again, one option is to create a template, or another option is, I wouldn't bother with a template. I would just open up the old worksheet and start putting the new data in top of it, and then save it with the new name. But a template is an option. Okay, so now we want to do a save as. So let's do save as here. And again, I'm going to go to my desktop. And I want to save it as a regular workbook. And let's see, save and analysis is what I want to call it. And I just want to get rid of, whoops. Okay, so I want to save it with that name, and I want to save it as a workbook. Make sure you don't save it as a template. And now we can click on save, and now we have a regular spreadsheet with XLSX on the end, and we can always go back to that template if you want to start over again. Okay, now we're going to import some data. So we want to go to cell A4, and we want to go to the Data tab. And we've got a text file out there that we want to import, so let's go to From Text. And we want to go to our Chapter 7 folder, and the file we want is a CSV file. Now it's got an Excel icon here, but CSV stands for comma separated values. So it's a text file, and there are commas between the values in the different columns. And I want store 10248, and so let's open that or double click on it. Whoops, let's try that again. Now import it, and now this is a delimited file. Sometimes they are fixed widths, which means that spaces have been inserted to make every column exactly the same size, but this is delimited. Go to the next step, and you have to tell what the delimiter character is here, and the delimiter character is a comma. And once you've specified that, you can see your data here has been lined up, and click on Next. And for format, we want General, and then we want to click on Finish. And it says select how you want to view the data in your workbook, and click on Properties. I'm on the top of page 426 now, and one of our options here is to adjust column width, and we went to a lot of trouble to set the column widths before, so we're not going to do that. And we want to overwrite existing cells with new data and clear unused cells, and then we can click on OK. And now we're back to our import data button and click OK again. And this is what our data should look like, and it should match the picture on the bottom of page 426. Okay, go to the Home tab and select cell C4. So C4 is right here, and we're going to copy its format. So we're going to click on the Home tab and we're going to go to the Format Painter and drag it through C5 to F10. So C5 to F10. You notice the alignment is just a little bit different on the numbers I've got in gray here. They're a little bit more right aligned than the numbers above, and copying the format like that lines everything up exactly the same. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to import some data from an access table. So we're going to go to cell A11 and we're going to go to data, and we want to get data from access. And we want to go to our student files location again. That's on my OneDrive. And I'm in my chapter 7 folder here. Let's make it a little bit wider so we can see all the file names, and it's showing me all the access files, which have a file extension of ACCDB. And the one that I want is store 27943, and we will open that up. And now we're on the top of page 428, and we're just going to click on OK. And we brought the data in, and it is formatted as a table. Our picture, though, should match the top of page 428, and now we're going to go to cell A11, which is right here. And we want to right click and choose table, and we want to convert it to a range. And click on OK when we get the dialog box. And now I want to delete the stuff in this row right here. So I'm going to right click on row 11, hit the delete from the menu. And then what I want to do is I want to select the remaining, select this stuff here. It's formatted the way I want it to be, and then I want to go to the Format Painter, and I'm just going to drag the mouse over all of this, and it will copy the format for all 5 of those columns all at the same time. Okay, another option is to import data from a web page into a worksheet. Okay, now we're on page 429. This part is going to be kind of ugly. What I did before starting this was I did copy the data file that they want to my desktop, but you still have to type in the name here as far as I can tell. So we want to be in A18, and we want to go to our data tab, and we want to get data from the web, and technically this is not from the web. They're kind of expecting you to type in a web address here, but you can also type in a file name, and my file name is, and this is going to vary depending on where you happen to have the file located, and so this is going to be on my C drive, and it is going to be it's on my desktop, and that is in a folder called users, and then that is followed by my username, followed by desktop, followed by the name of the file, which is clear pools store 33607 sales data.htm. Okay, I finally got it typed in correctly. When you do, apparently it puts the file : and 3 slashes in front. but you shouldn't have to type that in. It's okay to use forward slashes here instead of backslashes like Windows usually requires. Just be very careful you get everything in the path right, and it's such a long path and file name that it's real easy to get it incorrect. And so now we are on page 430 finally, and we want to select the table, and there's a little arrow right next to the table here, and click on that little yellow arrow, and then we want to click on the import button, and it asks us where we want it, and since the cursor was already in A18, we're okay. And click on properties here, and again we want to turn off adjust column width, and then we can click on OK, and then we can click on OK, and it will bring the data in, and it should look like figure 731 on the bottom of page 431. Now let's go to page 432, and we're going to delete row 18. So go over here and right click on the 18 and choose delete, and it'll delete the row for us. And we're going to have to do our formatting again because they're not quite lined up the way these are up here. So we'll just select everything in the row that's correctly formatted, and we'll go to our home tab and take our format painter and just drag it over everything down here so everything looks exactly the same. Okay, now we're on the bottom of page 432, and we're going to import some data from a Word document. And so we need to go to A34, so we're going to leave a little space there. And we need to open up a Word document, and so I'm going to pause the video here and open that file up, and you can do the same. Okay, I'm in Word now, and I have opened the Clearpool Store 42681 sales data document, and it does have a table in it, and I want to drag through all of the cells in the second through the last column. So let's select everything all the way over there and press Control C to copy that to the clipboard, and then I want to flip back over to Excel, and I'm back in Excel, and I'm in A34, and I want to do a paste, and so let's click on the paste button here, and we want to do a paste special. Now how do you know that? Well, you don't. What you can do is just try doing an ordinary paste here, and if it ends up looking ugly, which it's probably going to, actually it doesn't look too ugly, but I'll undo that with a Control Z here. Sometimes it all comes in one column, and you just have to try some other things. So if it doesn't look right the first time, go up here and see what your options are under Paste Special here. And what we want to choose is we want to choose text. And again, how do you know that? Well, some of these things are obviously not correct. It's not HTML, it's not a hyperlink, but you may just have to try some things until you get it right. But usually if something is in a table format in another document, you can get it into Excel without having to retype the data. You may just have to play with it a little bit. So this is text. Click on OK. And now our document should look like the document on the top of page 434. And now what we want to do is we want the stuff that's in the rows here to be in the columns up here. And so what I need to do is I need to transpose the data, and Excel does have an option for that. So I want this data to still be selected. I'm on number 1 on page 434 now. And I want to do Control C to copy all of that to the clipboard. And then I want to go to A25, which is where I want to paste in the data, and I want to paste it in with the rows and the columns transposed. Okay, so go to the paste button here and click on the down arrow, and you see there's a whole bunch of options here, and one of these options is transpose. And let's see, let's go ahead and do a transpose paste. Okay, now the data is kind of messed up a little bit, and so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do a little bit of moving. First of all, we don't need this stuff anymore because we just made a copy of it. And it looks like what we have to do here is this stuff was combined. We're going to have to separate it. So we're going to have to select this stuff here, and we're just going to have to drag it over one column. And then what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to split up these two. We've got data from two columns here all combined into one. And so we need to select that data and then go to our data tab. And there's a neat feature here on the data tab that will allow you to convert text into columns. So click on text to columns. So if it all comes in one column like that and you want it in multiple columns, you can tell it, and in this case we happen to have a space that's separating the data, so it's going to be delimited. Click on next, and it's going to be delimited by a space, and click on next, and actually I think we can click on finish now, and there we are. We still need to do our formatting thing again. So this is the last row that was formatted correctly. You can tell by the indentation here. And go to Home, click on Format Painter, and click and drag all the way down. Okay, and now we want to replicate some formulas. Select the location of the formula you want, in this case G4. So let's go to the top of column G, and we want to drag the fill handle all the way down to the bottom here for all of this data. And I dragged it a little too far, so I'll just go back and delete those. And now we're on the top of page 438. And I want to scroll the summary area, which is I4 to J4. And I want to drag it down through row 10. So select both of these and copy down to row 10, which is right there. Okay, and that takes us to the end of that section. So that's a good place to stop this video.